And even as the world is watching this interview, when the Russian president was asked on arm twisting of India, here's what he said on how US is not in a position to do that. Listen into that excerpt.
But my question to you now would be about defense. And India continues to be the biggest defense buyer. Roughly 38% of the market from Russia is bought by India. My question to you, sir, is in view of the sanctions by the US or the tariffs they have laid on India, the arm twisting methods that are being adopted, and I name it's America. How do you plan to circumvent all this? Will you pull back or push harder?
Но мне кажется, что и Индия, весь мир увидели.
Well, I think both the world and India have seen that one cannot talk to India the way they used to talk to it 77 years ago. India is a great power, not an English or British colony, and everyone will have to take that into account. And moreover, the head of the Indian government, Prime Minister Modi, is not one to give in to pressure. The Indian nation can take pride in their Prime Minister. It's absolutely evident Prime Minister Modi has a firm position, which is not, however, confrontational, nor are we going to enter into confrontation with anyone. We are simply trying to defend our legitimate interests, and that is exactly what India is doing. What are the obstacles? There's transactions and payments, but more than 90% of our transactions are carried out in national currencies. There are certain difficulties, of course, because there are intermediaries, but there are solutions to that, because we can transition to using the systems for financial messaging systems, which we have offered by the Bank of Russia and by our Indian counterparts. And we are doing this work steadily. And those who are taking steps to limit the economic cooperation of third parties sooner or later will incur losses. And I think once this understanding settles in completely and fully, then this practice of pressure from outside is going to.
And Gita, Mohan from Moscow also decoded Russia's response of how US has been behaving towards India when it comes to US trade tariffs, when it comes to exercising that pressure for India importing oil from Russia. And this is what she said.
Yeah, on tariffs, a very important point that he made, which we are talking about, but he goes further. He says, well, the relationship is between India and the United States of America. They have weaponized tariff. They've been using it against every country. But more importantly, why they're stopping India from buying oil when America continues to buy nuclear fuel from Russia? That's a very important aspect. He's saying, he spoke of the double standards of the West here.
So there you hear and get a glimpse of what this interview will really look like. 9 p.m. is when the entire interview airs. And from defense cooperation to nuclear energy partnership to trade ties to economy to how Vladimir Putin not just hails the India-Russia bilateral relation, but also speaks about India's growth story, reiterates his friendship with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He hailed Modinomics, and he also spoke about how Russia is watching every step of India very closely and tracking India's trajectory, India's growth story. Now remember, it is a 25-year strategic partnership between India and Russia, and this evening is when Vladimir Putin is all set to arrive in New Delhi. This is after his visit in 2021 that he will be welcomed by President Murmu this evening. It is a 2-day visit that is planned in India, and ahead of this visit, as the stage is set, this interview that gives you a peek into what the issues really are, how he addresses each one of them, how he takes the tough questions, and how he even went on to speak to our team, his lighter side, the informal talks that happened with our editors as he chose the India Today group. Yes, Russia chose to speak to the India Today group ahead of Vladimir Putin's visit to India. History as it is, because this is the biggest global exclusive interview that you've seen in 2025. And there you see how it was a no-holds-barred interview. So much so that when he spoke about his friendship with Narendra Modi, he even went on to say that the car ride that he had with Prime Minister Modi at the SEO summit was actually his idea, because he wanted to spend those minutes with Narendra Modi alone, and that's when they had that car ride.